Ever find yourself kind of, like thrown off by words in English that sound almost the same but have totally different meanings?
Oh, absolutely. It's like a minefield out there.
Right. Like 1 minute you're using a word correctly and the next you're, well, not. And you've asked us to do a depth dive into this, specifically looking at some tricky English word pairs from the podcast episode, ¿Por qué es tan difícil aprender inglés?
Which is a fantastic question, by the way. Why is English so hard to learn?
Yeah, it's a head scratcher for sure. But for this deep dive, we're going to really zero in on some of those pesky word pairs that even trip up native speakers sometimes.
The ones that make you do a double take. I'm game if you are.
Totally. So the first pair that caught my eye, taught versus thought. Just one letter throws everything off. What's the key difference there?
Well, you really nailed it. It really does come down to that one letter. Taught. With that ought sound thing. That's all about sharing knowledge, right? It's the past tense of to teach.
Right, like she taught me how to ride a bike.
Exactly. But then we've got thought with the ought sound, like bought. That's all in your head. It comes from to think.
I thought about calling, but it was too late.
You got it. Subtle difference in sound, but a world of difference in meaning. And the podcast episode actually highlights another tricky pair, through and throughout.
Ooh, yeah, those two get me all the time.
Right. It's all about the preposition and whether it's indicating direction or duration. So through suggests movement, like passing through a tunnel.
We drove through the mountains.
Perfect. But throughout implies something happening continuously over a period of time or across a whole area, like the excitement lasted throughout the entire festival.
That makes sense. It's subtle, but I see the difference now.
And, sometimes it's easy to get tripped up by these, especially when you're first learning.
Oh, tell me about it. I once mixed up, actually, it was through and throughout in an email to my boss. I meant to say I'd been working on a project all week, but ended up making it sound like I just, breezed through it in an afternoon.
Oh, no. Did your boss notice?
Let's just say they had a good chuckle about it. But it definitely taught me to be more mindful of those little words.
They can definitely trip you up. And speaking of tripping up, the podcast also pointed out the words tough and thorough, which, they both have that ah sound we've been talking about. But boy, do they mean different things.
Yeah, tough is like, man, that workout was tough.
Exactly. It means difficult or demanding.
But if you aced that tough workout because you planned each exercise carefully and didn't skip any reps, you were being very thorough.
Exactly. Thorough implies being complete, detailed, and very careful.
It's fascinating how one little cluster of letters can have so many different pronunciations and meanings. It's like a linguistic puzzle.
It really is. But, it's this complexity that makes English, English.
Sure. And for those listening who are learning English, don't get discouraged. We all stumble on these tricky word pairs from time to time.
Absolutely. The key is to pay attention to the context, to the words and sentences around those tricky words.
Context is king.
It really is. And hey, if English has so many of these tricky word pairs, just imagine what other languages are hiding.
Now, that's a thought. We've had a blast diving into these tricky word pairs with you all. And remember, keep those language questions coming.
Until next time.